Our sixth key message is that we call on the parties meeting at the 27th Conference of Parties in Sharm el-Sheikh to establish a loss and damage fund facility. So I'm just going to ask 3 questions and just give like a 1-sentence or 2-sentence answer to each one. So I'll ask, you answer, ask, answer like this.
I have no time to think, so
So, well, let's start with, I think, an easy question. Why should there be a loss and damage fund facility?
That's obvious, because when there is loss and damage, we need to rehabilitate back, we need to rebounce back. So I think definitely it's obvious we need funds for that.
And who should be contributing to that fund? And why should they be the ones contributing?
I previously said that it's a global crisis. And when you see someone in crisis, you have to set aside all the differences, no matter political, no matter religious. So it's the responsibility of everyone, the faith actors, the state actors, everyone who is at the stakeholders. So it's the responsibility of everyone to look around and see who is in need and what should be done, not just sympathizing or empathizing, but what practical action can we take. So whoever is involved should be contributing in that.
And you come from Pakistan, you're from the global south. Is there a message to the global north in a loss and damage fund that you need to speak out about, to respond to?
Okay, yes. It's a critical question, and I would answer it in some simplified way. Actually, we work in the diocese, and we do get funds from the global north, because that is how our diocese works and sustains itself. What happens is, when there is a fund policy or grants going on, so we apply to them and they provide us with funds, and also the relief funds. I want to say one thing which struck us so much, and that is if they are providing us with $5,000 US, which is a very less amount, for instance, just giving an example. And when it comes to the audit, and when it comes to provide them with the financial reports, they are asking as if they have provided us with $10,000 US. And they are expecting that you have to take care of the entire Church of Pakistan in just $5,000 US. And it is a very recent example that has happened, so it was in my mind. So when you are giving $5,000 US, you just not have to talk about like we are giving supplies to the people. We can just take care of one diocese or one area. Now Church of Pakistan has 8 dioceses, and they are far from each other, very far from each other, from the northern part of Pakistan to the southern part of Pakistan. So with a small amount, we cannot take care of everyone. So this message I want to give, that when you are trying to give us relief funds, give a sufficient amount, like which is able to take care of the entire Church of Pakistan and not just the diocese. So when you ask for audits and reliefs, so just ask in a more realistic way and not some utopia that you have to take care of the entire Church of Pakistan. So I think this is a very true example that I've shared. And that is the message I want to give in terms of funds.
Thank you. I've got literally a minute's worth of recording time left, so I'm going to give Archbishop Julio the opportunity just to conclude on this issue of loss and damage, perhaps, to give your take on particularly who should be contributing to the Loss and Damage Fund, and whether you feel like the conversations happening this week at COP27 are really addressing that issue in the heart of that.
No, that's not necessarily an answer that comes only from what we have been hearing, but also from what we have been seeing. And this first week of the COP27 here in Egypt, we must understand that in order for loss and damage to get on the agenda was a big step, and it was a good step. But we also need to realize that if we are following the protocol, that the response from loss and damage is not something that's going to happen as the COP27 ends. It's going to take some time to do the procedure, and within the United Nations and the UN, sometimes process really takes time. But the mere fact that it got on the agenda, it says that there needs to be another source of funding to respond to the reality of loss and damage. The next thing that needs to be said is that loss and damage is not only about finances, because there are situations of loss that no matter what amount of money you put, is not going to bring it back. And I'm talking about human lives. When human lives are lost, there's no money that will bring that back. When a situation of damage is done, it's not that I'm looking for it to change. Loss and damage is also an aspect of transformation. We are keen in looking for transformation. This week, we need to be grateful and thankful that the fact that the loss and damage item got on the agenda, and that countries around the world are recognizing the need for a loss and damage item to be taken care of, to pick up the necessary funds. But I also want to talk about how important it is to look at the loss and damage aspect also within the loss that cannot be